Oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right, folks, getting ready for our second homebrew tutorial. This will be a Belgian triple. That's what we're aiming for, a Belgian triple. As you can see, we've got things being sanitized, and we have the entire array of necessary ingredients over here. Okay, so what we have here, if you look, we've got that Candi sugar, which you'll see later in the video. We have 9 pounds of dry malt extract, 9 pounds. Each of those is 3 pounds. There's your proper starter. You'll see that when we're pitching the yeast later. The water here in our part of North Carolina is kind of hard. Adam decided to go with a spring water this time, just purchase it, maybe change the flavor profile a bit. And here you have some Saaz hops and some German Perle hops. Over to the left in that little bottle is the Irish moss, the clarifier. So you see everything that you're going to need here, the star sand and everything else. All right, firing this up. So Adam, you went out and bought some spring water because our water is a little bit hard here.
It is, and I wanted to try and get a good different flavor profile, as clean a palate, as clean a base as we could do here. So I chose spring water. I had thought about distilled water, but no, let's do some spring water. This is just plain spring water you can get at Walmart.
So 6.5 gallons of the spring water being brought up to a boil. Adam, what have you got there?
So these are our malts that we're adding here, and this is really where you can customize your recipe. Since we're making a Belgian-style beer today, I chose, we've got 2 pounds of malt. One pound of Abbaye malt, which is a traditional Belgian-style malt. And then I've chosen Dingemans Special B, which is going to be a little bit darker than normal. I was kind of aiming for a triple, but I think that this is going to end up being more like it's going to have a color of, say, a double, maybe something like Delirium Nocturnum. And what we're doing,
we can hope for that.
We can hope for that. As far as the look goes, we'll see about the flavor later. We just add it in, and you can see the camera over here. It's starting to get a little, starting to get in there.
Yep.
Starting to color it. This will give us some good color. I've cracked it with a coffee grinder. I've used a rolling pin before. My blender broke this morning because, of course. So we're releasing some of these flavors. Going to get it up to a boil here.
Okay, so while we're brewing here, get a little North Coast Brewing, Brother Thelonious. It's a Belgian-style Abbaye Ale. And Adam, this is about the color that we're expecting out of this.
I'm thinking, yeah, that this is the color that we're going to get out of it.
In the meantime, we're going to drink this while we're brewing our version. Not quite matching the color of our glass yet, but this has been boiling for what, 5 minutes?
5-10 minutes or so or less, in that range. We're not boiling yet. We're going to let this get up to as close to 170 as we can, and we're going to let it sit for at least 30 minutes.
All right, what are we at right now, Adam? Why don't you throw that in?
Let's have a look. Let's see what we got. It is a little warm out here today. Right now we're at about 114 or so. 50. We'll keep going. We're going. So let's do 118. Getting close. We're getting up there.
Okay, so if you had watched our first tutorial making the stout, you would have seen more of a roaring boil at this point. Adam has decided that we're going to bring it up a little bit more slowly this time. And we've got probably about 10 more minutes. We'll check the temperature. It should be pretty close at that point, and we'll see what we have. But you can see that we're learning as we go in different styles. But if you haven't checked out the stout tutorial, go back and check it. Been very popular so far. All right, so it's been a little less than 10 minutes actually. Where are we at, Adam?
We are just a little over 170, which is kind of our optimal temperature.
Okay.
I've turned it down just a little bit to kind of hold it at 170.
Sure.
As far as our time goes, we're going to leave it in here just a little bit longer to let it steep in here, and then we'll crank it up and get a good rolling boil, and then we'll go to the hops phase.
All right. You know CapCut's not going to like the way you say boil.
Boil.
All right, so we're a little over 30 minutes now. You can see that it's starting to foam up a decent head here.
I'm going to go ahead and pull these grains out a little bit. I've cranked up the heat a little bit so we can get a good rolling boil, and then we're going to go get the hops.
So how much did you say that we had here in grains?
So this is 2 pounds of 2 pounds total of grains.
Right.
And this is Abbaye malt, which is a specific Belgian-style malt, and this is Dingemans Special B. Dingemans Special B. That's a specialty malt that you can get at any homebrew store, and it adds a little bit of a darker, richer look, character, smell. It has a different smell than the stout that we brewed before.
No, I can smell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna let this bag drain to get as much concentrated flavor here as we can.
Sure. Get all that malty goodness out of it. All right. So as you can see, I'm not just a pretty face or just a cameraman. I am also a worker bee here, and we are adding in our dry extract malts. We've done 1 bag already. Adam, go ahead. Tell us about the rest.
3 pounds of this is Briess. I guess that's how you say it. We're using dry malt extract, which is a nice powder. Pilsen light. All the best Belgians are made with Pilsner malts, and that's what we're using here.
All right. So it's 3 pounds total. How much is in that bag right there?
This is 3 pounds. We've already put 3 pounds. We're going to start at a 6 pound.
Okay.
And we're going to add some more later.
All right, so I'm going to say this before Adam does and screws up the CapCut auto captions. The boil over seems to be done. You can see all the foam on the side there. The break point was pretty high. So what are we doing now, Adam?
We're at the hop stage. This is we're adding in our bittering hops, and I'm using Perle hops. You want to use if you're doing a Belgian style, you want to use a European style hop. This is 8.6%, so it's a little bit more bitter than maybe a normal
What's
one.
the nose on that like?
It has a weird, slight citrus to it. It's kind of grassy,
Okay.
in a way.
Yeah.
It smells really nice.
All right.
It smells kind of light, which is surprising, but it's supposed to be spicy. And that's
So
what
we're not
looking
putting that in a bag or anything. We're just tossing that in. Because didn't we, on the
Last
stout,
time-
do a hot bag?
We did. We put it in a hot bag, and after consulting some homebrew forums and some things like that, they said you can just add them in. Just
Yep.
add them in, see what happens.
Yeah, we got really good feedback from longtime homebrewers on like homebrewtalk.com and stuff, and they seem to really think we did a decent job for our first time out. So I'm pretty pleased with that.
So what we're doing, and we're going to watch to see if there's a second boil over point, second break over.
Right.
We're going to see, and we seem to be doing pretty good so far. Ooh, it's already got a smell to it.
I can smell it.
Already
Yeah.
has it.
Oh, that aroma is really hitting you. And
This is
going to
go for an hour. Okay, we're going to let this go for an hour at this particular boil level, and
Let's go drink some beer.
Let's go drink some beer because it's hot out here.
It is. Okay, Adam. So this looks like you improvised here. You adapted and overcame some issues that we had with our yeast the first time out.
Yeah, last time the yeast didn't really take to it, and I tried the manual method of shaking it every 10 minutes for 24 hours, and that just didn't really work. Also, I used liquid yeast for a starter last time. Wouldn't recommend that. This time, we used the dry yeast. This is, I cut the top off. It's Lallemand. It's a product of Austria. This is their Belgian yeast. It's a dry yeast.
Okay.
And we only have 1 packet of it.
Right.
And the reason we're using 1 packet is because we have a starter here. You can get these at any homebrew store. You can get it on Amazon. They sell them in singles or 4 packs. This is like a concentrated version of what we just made outside that we're waiting on to boil some more.
Right. Boil.
You make this with some distilled water. You pour it in this nice little Erlenmeyer flask here. This is the large 2,000 milliliter one. I got a stir plate on Amazon for cheap.
Look at that.
And this has been going for a little over, we'll just say about 15 hours or so. Ideally, you kind of want to go 24, but just the way things happen here. Everything's been all sanitized, as we'll get into some of the sanitization here in a minute. But I did all this last night. This should give us a good starter. Belgian beers tend to be a little bit stronger than normal beers. So if you don't have this starter system set up, you can pitch 2 of these, what's called pitching, which is pouring, and we'll get to that in a minute when we actually pitch the yeast. You can just take 2 of these and do it, and you can get your ABV that you're looking for.
I like how that stir plate works, man. That is much more efficient than 24 hours of trying to remember to shake it or stir it every time you walk by it.
Most definitely.
Plus the hours that you're sleeping. And
Way
whatnot.
more consistent, and this also builds up the cells so you can get a good, stronger fermentation.
All right, Adam, what do we got here?
We've been boiling here now for 30 minutes or so, and we're going to go into what's called what I think is the late addition stage of the actual brewing process here. And all Belgian beers, all the good ones, use Belgian Candi sugar. This is light Candi sugar, 0 SRM, so it's going to add 0 color to what we're doing, but it's going to add some sweetness. We're doing this at the 30-minute mark. We've got a really nice hoppy aroma coming out of here. We're just going to go straight in. I am going to get my my handy dandy hot spoon here, and I'm going to stir it up because I don't want anything to really stick to the bottom. So I'm going to get a good whirlpool going here while I add it in.
It's like a rock candy there.
Yes, it is like a rock candy. Belgian candy, one of the things that makes it the way it is that it's kind of been clarified, kind of like a clarified butter. This is kind of like a clarified sugar.
Double, boiling trouble. Old Bill knew a thing or two. All right, so what are we stirring in still here? Is that the...
This is the last of our pound. We did 1 pound of Belgian Candi sugar.
Okay.
This is at about the 40-minute mark of our total boil. Next, we're about to add the last little bit of our sugar. We're going to have a total of 10 pounds of sugar.
10 pounds?
10 pounds of sugar.
How much malt?
That's 9 pounds of malt sugar, the Pilsen, and 1 pound of the Belgian Candi, and then we get whatever sugars come out of those grains that we put in there. It's going to be a strong beer.
What does sugar give us?
Gives us the sugars.
It gives us the alcohol. Gives us the good stuff.
We're at about the 40-minute stage of our brewing process here. We've added our Candi sugar. We're adding our last little bit of malt extract here. This is just the same thing as we added before. It's 3 more pounds of it. This is called a late stage addition here. Right before I put our wort chiller in, we're going to add this last 3 pounds of DME to give us 10 total pounds of sugar. All the best chefs taste their stuff.
Ooh, yeah, lift that off. Lift that off. Get that off the flame. What are we doing now, Adam?
We are adding our wort chiller. This is an optional piece of equipment that I have found is actually pretty useful. We're putting it in with about 20 minutes left to go to get it good and sanitized. What this will do, it acts like a radiator on the inside. We're going to cool it down here soon. So our wort chiller has been in here about 5 to 10 minutes or so. What we're going to do, we don't have much longer left. We've got about less than 20 minutes left on our total brew time. And we're going to add our next level of hops. These are Czech Saaz hops, 2.7% alpha acid. This is a flavoring hop. You can see that. Look at that.
Yeah,
see the price on it as well from my local homebrew. We're using pellets.
Nice.
And have a smell.
Oh, okay. That's very pronounced. I like that.
It's a little bit different. This is a good flavoring hop.
Yeah.
We're just going to add it right in.
Nice.
Last thing we're putting in here is our Whirlflock. This is Irish moss. It encourages the precipitation of haze. So this is a clarifier is essentially what this is. This is a little thing that you can get at comes in a capsule about this. This says a half a tablet per 5 gallons, but we're using the whole thing.
No, we do what we want. I do what I want.
We're going to move it off the fire now. We're done.
All right. The brew process is done. Now we're going to let the wort chiller do its thing. All right, there you go. You can see the wort chiller in action. See the water flowing through the hose. It's going to go through and create a radiator effect like Adam had mentioned earlier. And that is going to cool this down.
If you don't have a wort chiller, you really need an ice bath because you want to get this thing as cold as possible, as quick as possible. And if you got a giant cooler or if you have a smaller version of this, you could throw it in a sink with some ice. Main thing is, get it cold. We're looking to try and get this thing down to about 75 degrees or so. Now that we're done on the hot side, what they call the hot side, we're going to the cold side. We went over this a little bit in our previous video, but just as a quick star sand, don't fear the foam. I filled this up a little while ago. We've got a little bit of foam here on the top. 5 gallons, 1 ounce to 5 gallons. That's all you need to know about it. Everything that's going to touch our beer now that it's cooling down, everything that touches our beer is going to have at least touch whatever's come out of this liquid. We've got our fermenter here, ready to go. This is a 7-gallon fermenter. We're only going to have about 5 gallons total. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to pour some sanitizer in here. I'm going to have all of our other stuff as well. We're going to get everything good and sanitized before we pour any sort of beer into here.
You've got your cap, you've got everything in here, hoses and whatnot. Anything that touches the beer needs to be sanitized. And we really covered that in the stout video, so we're not going to go over it now. If you haven't watched the stout video, go back and watch it. You'll learn a lot more about sanitizing everything, but for the purposes of this video, we're going to assume you've already seen it or understand it.
Don't fear the foam. Come on, Mary. Don't fear the foam.
Yeah, don't sing.
Okay.
Don't do that. Right,
Now I'm doing it with the top on it.
There you go. You've added the cap and the hose.
That's right. Don't fear the foam.
Don't fear the... Oh, you got it all over the
I made
place.
a mess. So right now, everything's cooled down. We got it to a nice cool temperature. We're going to get it out of our kettle into our fermenter that's been sanitized that we shook up a little bit earlier. I've got this strainer here. So it fits nicely into this Monster hole here. I've sanitized it. And that's going to help. That's going to help with some of our debris that we've got in here, particularly the hop debris, since we didn't use a muslin bag.
A hot bag, yeah.
Or a hot bag or anything like that. So this is going to help catch some of that so we can have a nice, clean finish on the end here.
So, again, don't fear the foam. That's sanitizer. It's not a big deal. We got this pretty well cleaned out. Adam, what did you notice about the strainer on this one?
Not using the muslin bag, we got a lot of sediment down here in the bottom, which we didn't have before.
Right.
So we've actually got, I guess we'll probably say a ½ inch of liquid here that I can't really get out, that we got out last time.
Right. Yeah, the strainer kind of filled up and backed up on us at one point. We had to take the hose out and start. But anyhow.
Right, this is our gravity reading here. You can see our color here. It's a lot lighter. It's got a nice, rich, dark amber color, a lot like that North Coast that we had. 1.088.
There you go. I just want to make sure.
And we've added in here, this is the Brewer's Friend Homebrew. This is the calculator. And I've put in here, we've got 6 pounds of Briess dry malt extract, Pilsen light here. We got our Candi sugar. You've got your options to put in as late addition here.
Steeping grains,
I've added
everything.
Our steeping grains here, the ones that we used. Mash guidelines, we're not using mash because we're doing an extract. I've got our yeast. I've got it put in here as a starter. I've added our hops in here as well with our correct alpha average, our alpha percentage. And as you can see right here, this is our expected ABV, which is 9.6. That's our expected. With a 37 IBU SRM of 16.08.
Boy, that sounds good to me.
It says our initial gravity is supposed to be 1.09. We're a little bit under that. Our final gravity, we'll see how that turns out with our starter here, but we should be in this ballpark of 9.6.
Right, and let's put a link to this calculator because this is a free calculator.
It's a free calculator. Right? You can put it in. You have to sign up to kind of save it, but you can just put it in.
Yeah, we're not affiliated with them at all, but this is a calculator that you really like. There's others out there, I'm sure.
I will change it here. I've got it listed as a strong Belgian Ale. I'll take that off, and as you can see, it changes. If you take that qualifier off, it jumps up to an 11.7.
Yeah.
Or 11.1, excuse me. So we'll see how that goes on our final reading. And as far as pitching the yeast goes, it's really very simple. I've taken my top off here. We're no longer on the spinner. And that's our yeast, our liquid yeast here. It's ready to go. And it's really just as simple as doing that.
All right. We're just going to let this ferment for a bit. It's going to sit in this corner of this room. As you can see, we've got the water here, the cup of water with the runoff hose in that Adam had talked about a few minutes ago. And this should take about 14 days?
10 to 14 days.
Okay, Adam, so we did a thing today.
We did a thing today.
Yeah, Belgian Ale. We're aiming for a triple. We'll see what it ends up as, but boy, does it look good. And the little bit that I tasted when it was still warm.
I did a jig.
Yeah, you did.
Can't wait. I hope you found this video interesting.
Yeah, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Go back and watch the stout video. We're really proud of that. Over 1,200 views, which for us is a lot. It's like 1,170 more than normal.
And if you're interested in doing a Belgian style, it's the same process, just here's the different ingredients that you need.
Yeah, exactly. Just check it out. Hope you like it. Take care, folks.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.